Chapter 17, 5:10 a.m. How's it going, everyone? Doogie Man Hammer here. Ghost Trick, let's keep it going. I think this is the last chapter, I don't know. The upended submarine continues to sink slowly but surely. A long, long journey to the bottom of the sea. Down, down, down to the bottom of the sea. Lynn and the little lady found the darkness and the salt water closing in on them. But at the very last second, something saved them. Now it looks down at them quietly. My head is filled with one giant question. What in the world is that thing? It looks like a claw. Oh my god, it's being controlled by a bunch of things. Oh, I thought it was an actual claw. What, huh? Oh my god, this person is making a robot body. Oh my god, it looks like Sissel. What in the world, dude? Oh. What? I see you managed to survive, detective. Hey, you're... Yeah, that's the frickin' other one. Excuse my appearance. I seem to have lost my body. That's wild, he can make his own. This is crazy. Don't look at me. Oh, and you there. You're the ghost who's been saving Lynn all evening, aren't ya? You knew about me all along? Of course. What else would explain all those unnatural things happening? If you knew, how come you didn't do anything about it at the time? And how come you decided to save us? I thought you wanted to get revenge. I don't really know. Please, you gotta tell me. I need to know. Whoa. Who in the world are you? Sissel, look at you. What happened? I can't hold on to that image of myself any longer. You can't remember who you are? That's right. I came all this way tonight trying to chase down my lost memory. For quite a bit tonight, I thought I was you, Sissel. Sissel? My name isn't Sissel. I bet you'll remember really soon who you are and who I am too. What? Why won't anyone just tell me? The man in front of me is not me. I'm even further away from the truth. Or maybe not. Something's stirring in my mind. A memory about to emerge. Do I know this man? Now that I've shed my image of myself, I feel like I'm one step closer to the truth. I'm not one step closer to the truth at all. I have no idea what's going on, who I am. They got us good. That's all over for this submarine. Its engine room is destroyed. There's a hole in the hull and it's sinking as we speak. What are you doing here? I thought you had to deal with those people. They betrayed me. I was a fool to trust them. They already have what they wanted now. The Temsic fragment. I didn't know they had it all figured out. You mean they figured out the source of your powers? Yeah, that meteorite's radiation has two effects on living creatures. It gives power and time. If you don't mind, we'd like to hear more. Well, yeah, we have enough time to, before we die. In these 10 years, I've been watching that junkyard superintendent do his research. I think I've got it all figured out. The meteorite's radiation gives spirits special powers, like possessing and manipulating objects, and in my case, swapping objects. Exactly. Apparently, there are individual differences in the powers we get, and it seems these powers change as time goes by. They do? Yeah, my powers have changed over the past 10 years. At first, I could only manipulate small living creatures. Now then, how do you suppose we got these powers? It's simple. It is? How? In a nutshell, we died while exposed to the energy emitted by the meteorite. It's radiation. That's what it does? Dying while being exposed to the radiation? Ah. Now, on that day 10 years ago, it's literally what killed him, was that meteorite shard. A fragment of that meteorite pierced my heart, and I died. And he died the same exact way in the junkyard too, with his butt up in the air. So of course I received special powers. Hey, wait a minute. Is that how I got my powers too? You know, you might be right. Yeah, because he died in that little crater. And there was still a piece of fragment inside. Yeah. Aren't the Temsic remnants still right there in the park at the bottom of the crater? You're right. So then that must mean I must have died in the presence of the meteorite's radiation too. Well, yeah, because the radiation, the like fragment that they took was inside my body. Like I had it on me, so I would assume. Another effect of the meteorite's radiation has on us is that it gives us, excuse me, time. Again, I think this time effect is centered around the theme of death, but it's not all that clear. So the fact that I can return to 4 minutes before a person's death is another effect of that meteorite. One of the characteristics of that meteorite is its ability to replay the moment of death. Replay the moment of death? Oh, this is so strange and confusing. It makes about as much sense to me as anything else. Yeah, strange and confusing. That's just about sums up the object that pierced my body that day. Thanks to that meteorite fragment, my very existence is a contradiction. What do you mean? That day, when the fragment pierced my heart, I lost my life. However, because it remained inside of me, that fragment continued to constantly regenerate my body. Oh, in other words, my body was continuously cycling between the moments that separated my life and death. What? My body's vital function stopped 10 years ago, but my body's time is perpetually stopped at the moment just before death. Time just stopped, huh? So I just simply existed, not really alive and not really dead. That pretty much sums up these last 10 years for me, ever since that incident at the park. My body hasn't aged a day, my hair hasn't grown an inch. That's crazy! Come to think of it, that old pigeon guy mentioned something. He said he couldn't cut this guy's body with a scalpel. Yeah, because it would just heal up fast enough, because they wouldn't let him do anything to it, because it was in a permanent stasis. So I guess as soon as an incision was made, his body would regenerate. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Before I left this country, I wanted to do one thing. I wanted to get revenge on the people who stole our lives. Our lives? As part of the deal, I made those guys promise to cooperate. Cooperate? You mean the kidnapping? It all went fine. I manipulated Justice Minister, made him issue the execution order, but I thought he might call off the execution at the last second. So that's why you wanted his daughter kidnapped. But they kidnapped the wrong girl. Little did I know, they had their own reasons for cooperating with me. Their objective was to wipe out everybody who had to do with the Temsic. Detective Jowd was one such person, so they were happy to cooperate. Inspector Cabanela and that junkyard super, they were slated to be wiped out too. And as it turns out, I was also on that list. Such a cool design. I like the way he looks. I was one of their targets as well, so they stole my Temsic fragment and here I am. But they had one more final target. You, detective. Me? What does she have to do with the Temsic fragment? If you weren't there in the park that day 10 years ago, I never would have thought of doing something as stupid as taking a hostage. Okay, but I was just a little kid playing at the park. Yeah, I know. Huh? 10 years later, you'd become a detective looking into Jowd's case. Tonight, I invited you to a quiet spot at the edge of town. It was a trap, you see. I told you who I was. You never saw my face that day 10 years ago, so of course you didn't recognize me. Oh. He's like, please, kill me. So I took possession of you to make you shoot me. So he did manipulate her into doing it. Your subconscious resisted. Such incredible power. It was the first time I wasn't able to control somebody completely. The aim was off and the first shot missed the mark. Dang, so my body was just sitting there waiting to be shot? That's crazy. The junkyard was equipped with security cameras. I knew you'd be wanted for murder. That was my plan anyway. I thought that was Umbrella. I don't know why I didn't think it was a shotgun. But they had other ideas. They simply wanted you wiped out. But then, something threw a big monkey wrench into their scheme. I showed up. But who am I? Where do I fit into this? Who am I? I was supposed to meet up with them after that. But then something went wrong. What happened? My body disappeared. The inspector in white was responsible for that one. My precious bargaining chip was in that body. I had to get it back no matter what. The inspector caused me no end of trouble. But why were those people targeting me? I even heard of the Temsic. Because you were looking into the Jowd case. They thought you would find out about the Temsic sooner or later. Jesus. Ah, this robot body is so cool. And that's pretty much the whole story. The only thing left to do now is wait for the water pressure to crush this submarine. Oh no. There are no cores that link from here to the surface. I have an idea. We have the phone line and there are no communication cables down this deep. They meant for this submarine to be my coffin. A coffin for the dead. There's no escape. I think I kind of understand now what you've been feeling these 10 years. You what? This feeling of being cut off from the world, all alone in a submarine, sinking slowly towards the bottom of an endless sea. This must be how you felt all along. Ah, Camilla's up. Lynn? Camilla! Is it true? We're stuck here? What, If my dad was here, I'd bet he'd save us. Yeah, we don't know where he rocketed off to in that little conference room. Oh, Camilla, I'm so sorry. That's funny. What is it, Sissel? There's something I don't understand. Why would they go to all the trouble of detaching the control room? What? Why don't they just steal the Temsic fragment and escape if that's what they wanted? Why'd they have to jettison your body off into the sea? It's a good question. I guess it doesn't matter why now. We'll never find it again. I have no idea where it was launched to. Wait a minute. Yes, we do. Oh, yeah, because there was the tracker on it. This will tell us where Detective Jowd is. The present from the inspector. That's right, Detective Jowd told me to hold on to it for him. And the bullet's still in the person's body, right? Then we should be able to tell exactly where he is. But even if we find out where, how do we get there? We should be able to figure something out between the three of us with our powers, right, Miss Lynn? Right. Oh, and wait a minute, what about a torpedo? A torpedo? In any case, it's way too early to give up. It looks like Detective Jowd's our last hope. Come on, let's get started. Oh my god, so we're going to use the last torpedo to just, like, ricochet? Like, up and out of here? This guy doesn't have a core anymore. He's just, like, there. Well, what am I supposed to do? So his shell is definitely there in the command room, right? Just without the fragment. It's there, yeah, but I don't know about calling it a shell. Detective Jowd's watches tell us exactly where it is. Yeah, there might still be another torpedo in the submarine. If we can use it, we can get to Jowd. Alright, so what are you gonna do? Ride the top of the torpedo? Of course not, you're gonna go. Darn, I've kind of wanted to see that. Okay. Control panel. Ah, grapes. Dial. Torpedo room, baby. Their torpedo room, huh? Might be another torpedo there. Let's go check. Oh, I get it. You're gonna use a missile to ram to the control room. I don't know about ram, but I don't want to blow up Detective Jout. We'll climb up there. Up is definitely safer. No, okay, so they just made it up there on their own. Good stuff. Looks like the torpedoes can be launched manually with these switches. There are 2 tubes, so there should be 1 more left. Guess the first thing we have to do is load it into the tube. When it comes to missiles, you can count on me. I'll enter the coordinates of the command room into the torpedo. Well, that's nifty. And I just turned on the backup power. We ought to be able to use the switches now. Alright, let's try it. Good luck! This one won't budge. Yeah. Can't do it with my powers alone. Well, what else am I supposed to do? What'll happen to those 2 ladies? I think that's up to us and our powers. What? It's no time to be standing around. Will you lend me your strength missile? Of course! Count on it! And swap those. And then you go up to this one and lower. Woohoo! There we go. That torpedo looks serviceable. All set on this end too. But something's odd. What? In the command room. It looks like it's slowly sinking. Sinking? Yeah, it's completely run out of power. I wonder what happened. I don't know, but I guess I'll find out. Alright, hop into the missile. I've already set the torpedo's course. I'll head towards the command room. 12 seconds after launching, it'll pass by the command room for an instant. That instant will be your window. Alright, got it. It'll probably be my last task tonight. So until then, wait till we get back. Missile, are you on this with me? I think it might be nice. Come on, Missile. Missile? I'm sorry, I can't go. I just can't. How can I leave? I can't leave Miss Lynn and Miss Camilla to be killed. I can't. Missile. I swapped the switches so the missile can be launched. You'll have to do the rest. I can't do it either. I can't ask Missile to come with me after that. I appreciate that they can hear us at least. I want you to go, Missile. What? But Miss Lynn! You staying here won't change our fate. But if you go with Sissel, you might be able to make something happen. But what if that something doesn't happen? I'll never be able to see you again. I couldn't stand that. Don't worry, Missile. Miss Camilla? I just know you and Sissy can make something happen. I believe in you. I'll be right here waiting. We'll see each other then. Miss Camilla! That's a good boy. You ready? It's 12 seconds after I throw this switch. I'll be back soon, don't you worry. Sissel? Yeah? Never found out who you really were. But that doesn't matter now. All I know is I'm truly glad I met you tonight. Thank you. And I'm glad I met you, Detective. But we're gonna see each other, right? That's right, we promise. Of course we will. I'll never forget you. Here goes. Wahoo! God, I genuinely have like no idea who this could be. I don't know if it's going to be revealed or not, but still. These 12 seconds are lasting an eternity. I strive to think of a way to save Lynn and the little lady the whole time. But how can a ray of light, of hope, reach this far down into the deep ocean? Before I can think of an answer, the 12 seconds are up. Yum. Dang, that's longer than any of it's ever been. Sissel can't go that long normally. Detective Jowd! I bet that big masked man did this. I'm gonna bite him. You better not, you might break your teeth. The command room has lost power and it's sinking, so I wonder what this masked man's going to do. Let's talk to him. Hello. Sorry for the wait, Detective Jowd. Who are you? Are you Sissel? Please excuse my appearance. Can't believe you made it here. How's Camilla? What about Lynn? Well, it's kind of a long story. Told Detective Jowd about everything that happened on the submarine. So the submarine's badly damaged? Why would he do that to his own submarine? I wish I knew. I know the answer to that one. Because he's afraid of my powers. You? You followed us? I didn't even notice. It's been 10 long years, Detective Jowd. Are you? Yomiel? Is that that person's name is Yomiel? So you remember me, do you? How could I possibly forget? So that's your real name, huh? Yomiel? What is that backwards? Le-moi? I don't know, is that something? That's right. But those people on the were calling you Sissel. That's just an alias I was using for my deal with them. I didn't see any need to tell them my real name. Could you do me a favor? Would you let me ask you some questions? I've been trying to find out my true identity all night. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sure there's plenty we can tell you. Right, Detective? Right. Alright, about Yamil. 10 years ago, you were a top systems engineer, weren't you? Systems engineer? What's that? By the way, I'm a top Pomeranian. Well, it's kind of hard to explain to a dog, but it's a person who's good at using computers. I don't mean to brag, but I was one of the best in the industry. I'm humble brag. That's how I got roped into joining the project. Project? What project? It was a project aimed at reorganizing the nation's top secret information. The goal is to build a new system using multi-dimensional programming theory. I was asked to join the government by an agent of the government. Doesn't sound like something a top Pomeranian would know about anything. To me, it just sounded like another challenging job. However, this project was also the target of a secret plot. Bet you can imagine the kind of crime that a nation's top secret might attract. Oh, sorry, I didn't read that. I never would have thought of something. It was never made public, but every organization in the country moved on this one. And then one day, the name of a certain programmer emerged as a suspect. I was the guy who built the core of the system. The police arrested you, and then that incident happened. He escaped from the interrogation room and took Lynn as a hostage. By the way, Detective Jowd, when was it that I was proven innocent? About 6 months after your death. I'm so sorry, Yomiel. "10 years ago, my soul was split from my body, and I lost everything. I was sealed in eternal darkness. I existed in this world, no question about that. But nobody noticed my presence." Crazy. So he was just literally nothingness. What good were my powers? They didn't help anybody. Not even the passage of time could heal my pain. In fact, it only made it worse. I wanted to disappear, but I wasn't even allowed to do that. The way Lynn described it is exactly right, sinking slowly towards the bottom of an endless sea, an overwhelming feeling of loneliness and despair. And I wanted all of you to suffer what I was suffering. And so that's why you murdered Alma. That's right. I wanted you to know what it was like to lose everything that you cared about. I wanted you to feel the same pain I felt. What? It was the twisted wish of a mind poisoned by infinite loneliness. And then, as I was plotting my revenge, I had an idea. I came up with a plan to use these dark powers of mine to make a deal. There's something I just don't understand about that deal. I'm sure your powers would be very valuable to them, but what would you get out of this deal? A new life. Life. I asked them for 2 conditions. Number 1 is that they help me with my revenge plot. And the second was a rebirth. A whole new beginning, huh? I didn't care if it was a fake life, an artificial life. I just wanted a physical receptacle for my soul, a name, an identity, in everyday life. I wanted to grow old in a society that would accept me. And finally, I wanted to die, surrounded by a loving family. That's the kind of life I asked for. A completely man-made life. That's right. I knew I couldn't hope for anything more than that. To make it all come true, I knew it would take a lot of money and a lot of power. That's why I decided to ask the national government to help me. And the response in the end was betrayal. They were making their moves much more carefully than I suspected. They sent spies to the country and researched my powers on their own. And they even figured out what Temsic was all about. You had no idea they were doing this? None at all. I was a fool. So then, why did they go to the trouble of making a deal with you? Why didn't they just steal it? They couldn't. Huh? After the manipulator incidents, research was conducted in this country too. A report was submitted to the government about the source of the manipulator's power. This frickin' man. By Inspector Cabinell and the old pigeon guy, huh? At first, the government didn't believe the report. But then they decided to put the park under surveillance. Surveillance? It just looks like an ordinary peaceful park, but there are armed agents there at all times. That's who that is? Don't tell me that odd leaflet guy's one of them. Not him, he's just a plain old odd person. Oh, okay. That park is like a silent battlefield on an international scale. So that's why they couldn't steal the Temsic meteorite. And lately, under the pretense of building a housing site, they've been working on a plan to destroy that park in order to secure the Temsic. So that's it. So the upshot of your grand deal was this. Yeah, in the ending, it's the ending I deserve. But at least there's one thing you must be happy about. And what's that? You managed to seal me away at the bottom of the sea forever. Well, shall we get started? Started with what? Bring Detective Judd back to life, of course. What? What good will that do now? But we promised Miss Linda and Miss Camilla we'd save them. We can't do that without you, Detective Judd. I've been guided by fate tonight to this place. I won't give up now. Alright, let's see where it leads us. Here we go then, back 4 minutes. 4:23. So, where are we headed? We are not headed anywhere, Detective. What? There's only enough fuel on board to launch us away, Detective. We will run out soon and this will be our destination, Detective. What are you talking about? That would mean that you're trapped here too. Ah! By the way, I am not human, Detective. He's just a robot? I am a remote-controlled robot. What? Your country's use of technology is just plain off. We get that a lot, Detective. That's nuts. Why would you go to all the trouble of doing this? It's nothing but a shell there. It's hardly a threat anymore. Commander Sith likes to provide against any possibility, no matter how small, Detective. Commander Sith? That's a nuts name. What is the Star Wars? Possibility. What are you talking about? There is no need for you to know, Detective. Oh god, there's just a freaking turret. Now it's time to say goodbye, Detective. In the end, your fate remains the same, it seems, Detective. Grrr. Camilla, forgive me. Whoa, buddy. It isn't over yet. It isn't? Remember what that big masked man said? Any possibility, no matter how small. Possibility. In other words, there must be a chance here somewhere. The possibility of turning the situation around. Yeah. Alright, what's up? Huh? What is it? Look at Yomiel's shell. There's no aura emanating. Of course there isn't. The Temsic fragment's gone. Could this change in his shell? Give us some kind of lead? What do you mean? I figured it out. I know what this possibility, no matter how small, is that they're afraid of. What? My time was perpetually stopped, thanks to the power of Temsic. His body cycle, yeah. Right, but not anymore. The Temsic fragment's been taken away. Exactly, so what does that mean? I get it! Your body won't come back to life anymore. The moment the Temsic fragment was removed, my shell became a regular corpse. So let's see, that means we can go back? Back to 4 minutes before your death? Wait a minute, exactly when is that death? That's simple. We'll find out. When we get there! So then his death would be before they took the fragment away. Oh my god, we're going so far back. No. We're going all the way back to the park 10 years ago. I fell back through the cracks of time for what seemed like forever, and then I saw it. The final death at the end of this long night. Who exactly am I? I've already seen all the clues. All I have to do now is remember. What? The final journey to the truth starts now. Oh my god, I'm getting goosebumps. Oh, this is it. What? Oh my god, you gotta be joking me. Dang, that's such a cool design though. Oh, I love that. Yes, save. Yeah, we're gonna keep it going. Dear God.